Hello everybody, it's Dr. Bam. I'm going to go over your Unit 2 assignments and information. I'm going to send this out again in a update link, but it's also found in your module. So make sure that when you're doing classwork that you're not only entering things from this calendar, you want to be going into your materials page and then down into the actual unit that we are in. So for this week, we are doing Unit 2, taking the developmental perspective of child development theory. This is probably one of the harder units in the class because we're going to do a lot of theory type stuff, which can always be challenging. So when we look at developmental theory, we look that every child has the capacity to develop all the skills possible that we know that humans develop. But there are things and situations that might occur that could impact that child's development negatively or positively in some cases. And there are systems and practices that we do when we look at that. So when we look at what is going to help a child to successfully develop in a positive way and have a good life, good career, good understanding, a lot goes on in this infant and toddler stage. And so we really want to understand the theories and how what we do in the day-to-day helps our infants and toddlers to develop. All these theories are just that. They're theories. So remember, someone else's theory does not have to be fact. And so they're theories that we say, hey, these are pretty solid. People have criticisms, positives and negatives of all these theories. But they're theories that we use to help us understand how we look at infants and toddlers. So when you're going over these theories, think about what pieces do you agree with or maybe disagree with, or what do you take in and understand through them. We also cover a little bit of cultural diversity and what do we do and how do we address it in our classrooms or in our environments that we work with children, because we need to continue to understand cultural and linguistic diversity and how it impacts even young children, infants and toddlers. So we're going to look at some ideas in our chapter about continuity of care, which means making sure that the same people are caring for the same infants, using our resources effectively, and advocating for quality and affordable access to care, because we know good care leads to lifelong positive developmental aspects for children. This is the foundation video, so it doesn't show here in step 1, but it will show when you come to the unit. In step 2, I have attached the PowerPoint for this chapter down here. Now, a lot of people like to print this or have it open or anything, or even just review it it kind of outlines our chapter very well. So I encourage you to use this PowerPoint because often a lot of the answers you're looking for are in there. And so use it to help you when you're reading your chapter. So then you're going to read chapter 1 of your textbook. If for some reason you don't have it yet, I provided a link right here. If you click on it, you'll see. That goes to most of chapter 1. It's like a sneak peek through Google Books, but it's free and it will cover most of chapter 1 for you. I would really encourage you to have it by chapter 2. This course moves really fast, and you're going to want to have it before you actually are getting much further into this unit or into this course. Next, you'll do your knowledge check. I'm sorry, I need to take that out, but you're actually going to do your knowledge builder and knowledge application. This class does not have knowledge checks. And then you'll do your knowledge builder and your knowledge application. So your knowledge builder will lead you to these questions. This is meant to take you some time. This is basically like the time you would have spent in class with me talking. I use videos and different resources to do that instead. And so you'll want to go in here, but you can save it. It doesn't show it on mine because I can't take the quiz, but down at the bottom of yours right here, there would be a save button. And so don't hit submit, hit save, okay? And then you can have it. I have in the settings, you'll see that I have given you 2 opportunities because sometimes something quirky happens. I recommend that you actually write your answers. You can type your answers right in, but then copy them just in case something does happen. You don't lose your answers. Copy and put them in a Word document and just store them there. It doesn't take but a few seconds, and it saves you a lot of time later if that's the need. So first here we're going to talk about tabula rasa, or tabula rosa, depending on the book that you're reading. And this is a theory by John Locke. And so we're going to go over that, and I want your opinion. So in 2 to 3 sentences, you're going to explain your understanding of what tabula rasa is and give your opinion of the theory. Do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? What's your understanding of it? Okay. This is a great overview of many of the theories in this chapter. You're just going to pick one theory to discuss and have that in 3 to 5 sentences. Then we're going to do something about nature versus nurture. So this is a good video on nature versus nurture. And then I want you to give your understanding of what nature versus nurture means. So don't just define the two, but why do we say versus? What's the versus mean? Okay. Support cultural, this is about supporting cultural and linguistic diversity. And then I really like this gentleman, took the time to do a couple lectures online, and I figured his lectures were pretty good. So take your time on these. They can be pretty straightforward. What is failure to thrive? One sentence, staying to advantage. Copy and paste and answer these questions, these 10 questions. This section right here is worth 15 points, so take your time. And then there is another one on cognitive development. So this one's physical development, this one's cognitive development, and answer those 7 questions, and this is worth 10 points. So these last 2 together are worth half the points for the whole assignment. So take your time on them. But that's really going over the depth and the meat of this chapter, this unit that we're going over. And then your knowledge application is also a quiz. It's going to go more specific into different theories in our chapter. So I want you to not tell me about this theory, but you want to talk about maturational perspective, for example. And how does that help us understand infants and toddlers? So here's a big hint for this question. I might say something like, the maturational perspective helps us understand that infants have to wait until they have matured to a certain point to do certain activities. For example, don't use my example, but for example, crawling. Infants who have just been born, who are 2 months old, do not have the maturity, the physical maturity in order to crawl. And so they just won't be able to do it, and that expectation shouldn't be there for them to do it. And then I would say maybe something else. But so that's how maturational perspective could help us understand. So then you'll do with each of the theories: social learning theory, cognitive development theory, ecological theory, and sociocultural theory. Okay, so each of those, just a short, how does this theory help us understand how we look at infants and toddlers? Okay, and then that's it for this chapter. That's a quick week. It's a lot of content. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a great unit.